Yo, what's up, guys? We're outside of a very important place here in California. You'll see it's just home to a porta-john and a giant empty parking lot. But inside of this empty parking lot is something...
Stop your scroll. A furious working class resident just went completely viral, absolutely shredding the mayor of Chicago to his core on camera. The political establishment is completely terrified of this level of raw grassroots anger.
Really important in the state of California. As you can see here, we have registered voters. 26 registered voters for this exact location, 100 Sunset Avenue in Venice. 26 registered voters. Right here, according to the registrar and the Secretary of State. 26 people registered to a porta-john and an empty parking lot. Where do their ballots go exactly? So who's picking up the ballots? Who's voting for the people in this lovely porta-john empty lot? That's the question. I think you know the answer.
Wait, did you catch the absolute fire and fury pouring out of this video? This isn't some highly paid political consultant or a cable news pundit. This is an everyday, hardworking resident realizing that Mayor Brandon Johnson has completely abandoned the tax-paying citizens of Chicago. You are witnessing the absolute, undeniable breaking point of the American working class. For years, the political elite have aggressively demanded that struggling taxpayers subsidize their radical, soft-on-crime policies, but allowing violent street takeovers while businesses board up their windows is crossing a catastrophic line. Notice how she explicitly calls out the total betrayal of her own community. The progressive machine fully expected these voters to just blindly comply and keep voting blue no matter what. But when the cost of progressive virtue signaling literally destroys the safety of your own neighborhood, that blind loyalty evaporates in an instant. This viral moment is a massive, glaring warning shot to every Blue City mayor in the country. The citizens are officially pushing back, and they are not going to be silenced anymore. Look at the sheer, undeniable panic written all over this MSNBC panel. Joy Reid is literally being forced to sit on national television and admit a brutal truth that her network has been desperately trying to cover up for years. The Democratic Party has completely lost its grip on working class and minority voters. Notice the absolute desperation in her tone. She knows that the progressive obsession with ultra-niche social issues, coastal elitism, and defunding the police has entirely fractured their traditional political coalition. When an establishment insider is forced to confess on live TV that the populist movement is successfully capturing the hearts of everyday blue-collar workers, it means their internal polling numbers are an absolute bloodbath. For decades, the political machine relied on the working class as an automatic, unquestioning rubber stamp, treating them like a guaranteed ATM for votes. But this specific clip proves the grand illusion is officially shattered. The voters have walked off the progressive plantation, and the media is absolutely melting down, trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding.
After Election Day, and they were explicitly told that it didn't just have to be a postmark that was on or before Election Day that qualified. If the date was handwritten, that would be okay as well. And you just think, what? It's just unbelievable. And of course, that's why so many people don't believe the results. But it just undermines confidence. So I completely agree with you. There is a case out of Mississippi that I think might help with this, that before the Supreme Court. But the whole thing is insane. I mean, the fact that you're sending out mail ballots to every single person on a voting roll that is wildly inaccurate, even though it's being cleaned up because the Trump Justice Department, thankfully, is bringing lawsuits against California to clean up the voter rolls. There's still a long way to go there. The whole thing is a joke, just like pretty much everything else they try and do here.
Did you actually see how masterfully President Trump completely commands this arena? He doesn't just stand behind a wooden podium and read off a boring list of policy failures. He physically projects a hilarious, viral, AI-generated meme onto the Jumbotron, showing Gavin Newsom in an absolute panic. and the entire stadium erupts into deafening applause. This is next-level asymmetric political warfare. The establishment desperately tries to combat him using highly scripted, incredibly dry talking points, while he is aggressively weaponizing internet culture to completely humiliate them in real time. By utilizing memes to openly mock the political elite, he speaks the exact language of the modern digitally native voter. He is brilliantly tying the massive political upheaval currently rocking California directly to his own America First momentum. The sheer joy, energy, and defiance radiating from that crowd proves that everyday people are entirely sick of being lectured to by miserable, out-of-touch career politicians. They want leaders who fight back, and they absolutely love watching the corrupt establishment get publicly dragged.
After Election Day, and they were explicitly told that it didn't just have to be a postmark that was on or before Election Day that qualified. If the date was handwritten, that would be okay as well. And you just think, what? It's just unbelievable. And of course, that's why so many people don't believe the results. But it just undermines confidence. So I completely agree with you. There is a case out of Mississippi that I think might help with this, that before the Supreme Court. But the whole thing is insane. I mean, the fact that you're sending out mail ballots to every single person on a voting roll that is wildly inaccurate, even though it's being cleaned up because the Trump Justice Department, thankfully, is bringing lawsuits against California to clean up the voter rolls. There's still a long way to go there. The whole thing is a joke, just like pretty much everything else they try and do here.
Listen incredibly closely to the sheer confidence radiating from that stage. Spencer Pratt is holding a massive rally, aggressively calling out the deeply entrenched Los Angeles political machine, and the crowd is eating out of the palm of his hand. But listen to his specific promise. He isn't talking about forming another useless bureaucratic committee. He is openly vowing to clean the streets and audit the multi-billion-dollar nonprofit grifters who profit off the decay. That rhetoric sends absolute terror down the spines of the corrupt executives who have been siphoning taxpayer money for decades. Pratt is loudly signaling that the era of unaccountable slush funds is officially over. The establishment media spent months laughing at him, writing him off as just a reality TV villain, but they fundamentally misunderstood the pure, unadulterated exhaustion of the Los Angeles voters. When you let a world-class city devolve into a filthy, open-air drug market, the taxpayers will happily hand the keys to a ruthless outsider willing to bring the hammer down. Watch the deeply defensive, completely panicked body language during this press conference. Karen Bass is standing at a podium, actively deflecting any ounce of blame after a massive, catastrophic fire erupted at an illegal street encampment. Instead of taking personal accountability for allowing these dangerous, unregulated tent cities to completely consume the sidewalks, she vaguely blames systemic issues and a lack of federal funding. This is the absolute hallmark of a career politician who is entirely insulated by a sycophantic echo chamber. She genuinely expects the taxpayers to accept that massive infernos in the middle of a residential neighborhood are just a normal part of city living. The sheer arrogance required to stand at a podium and actively gaslight an entire city that physically watched their own streets burn under her watch is staggering. She isn't apologizing for completely failing to maintain basic public safety. She is actively scolding the public for demanding better. This complete lack of self-awareness guarantees the political machine is doomed. The political elite are in total freefall, and the citizens are taking their cities back. Hit subscribe, drop a comment with your thoughts on these massive meltdowns, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.